Hello, my name is Sarenay. I'm an author and writer. I've officially self-published my first debut book, Makeup Only Looks Ugly When You Cry. And so let's talk about how you can become an author and write your first book in 2025. So to get straight into it, I really want to dive, deep into some of the critical things that takes place when writing a book. Now, my current book, Makeup Only Looks Ugly When You Cry, you can find it on Amazon, right? This is a fiction book for teens and young adults, right? I wrote this in the span of 2 months during my last semester of senior year. And so we're going to kind of get into the nitty gritty a little bit of how to publish your own book. I'm going to make this as simplistic as possible and straight to the point. I'm going to leave you with no confusion. And so let's get into these steps. All right, how to become an author in 2025. But number one is write down your ideas. Any ideas you have in terms of writing and creating your own book, please write down your ideas. Journal it, write it down on a piece of paper, do something. And when I say write it down, I'm not talking about a text. I'm not talking about notes on your phone. I mean, write it down. There is something very powerful about writing things down, especially if you're a Christian and a believer in Christ. You already know that this is very much true. The Bible is nothing but handwritten testimonies, handwritten prophecies, and things of that nature. The Bible would not be what it is today if people didn't write it down. Okay, and so write things down. It's very powerful and it's very useful. And I do believe that in a way, when you write things down and you put actions to words, you know what I'm saying? Or words to actions, however you say it, they will come true, because the Bible also says that faith without works is dead. Okay. Second, after you write it down, after you've formulated and brainstormed on paper what you want your book to be about, characters and all, okay, then we can go the technological route and create a Google Docs. I think this way of doing things is going to really help. You need a ladder when it comes to writing a book. You can't just jump from A to Z. It takes steps. It takes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Okay. In my opinion, I don't think it's best to try to write down your ideas on screen. I just feel like writing it down on a physical piece of paper just helps so much more. So that way, when you do transfer that onto a Google Docs or Microsoft or whatever software you're using, it flows easier, because you're not getting overstimulated, like, oh, I gotta delete this, or like, it kind of helps the flow of things, you know what I'm saying? And I just personally feel like doing a lot of stuff on a computer or phone or tablet, etc., especially when you're brainstorming, can become overstimulating, because you're looking at a screen all day and it just can become a lot. Your eyes need a break from that, and sometimes starting off with a piece of paper is easier than trying to start off on a Google Docs. That's just my personal opinion. Number 3, find an official site to polish your writing. Now, I use this website called Red Sea. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but this is what I personally had used to polish my writing. So when you look at a book, right, if you want your book to be professional, right, a Google Docs is not going to do. And plus, a lot of publishing sites and even your publisher, if you happen to go down the route of hiring a publisher, right, they're going to require a certain formatting to even acknowledge that you're writing a book. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Your work has to come off polished like this. There is a certain format that you must have when publishing your book. So you either need to go to your publisher or go to a website that will polish your writing. Do we see what I'm talking about, right? That will polish your interior writing, okay? And why is that? Is because a lot of times when it comes to the printing companies, they need to be able to make sure that all your texts are fitting within the book the way that they're supposed to, right? And so what you can do a lot of times is, once you've gotten to a point where you've wrote all the pages that you need to on your Google Docs, you can literally go to these websites, okay, and you can copy and paste everything, and they will format it for you. Okay, so again, I use this website called Red Sea. Very easy. You don't have to worry about watermarking. It's literally free. You can do it as many times as you need to. I personally suggest it. Okay, number 4. Now this is going to come down to the arts and crafts of it all, which is your illustration, your book cover, your front and back book cover. Okay, now here's the thing. I am a graphic designer. Okay, I graphic design. What made this so much easier, what prevented me from having to possibly hire somebody, is the fact that I am a graphic designer. So all this I was able to do by myself, right? And so again, when I'm saying that this stuff is free to do and easy to do, I mean it. Like, there's so many ways where you can DIY when creating your book. Now the illustration itself, no, I used AI. In these cases, if you're really trying to save money but you want to have a nicely polished book, use AI in these cases. But I was very descriptive in terms of what I wanted. This is not just a picture off of Google. No, and plus the HD needed to be a certain way, okay? Because you can sit there and try to drag a photo off of Google, but if it's all pixelated and everything, then your book is going to look janky and cheap. That's the truth of the matter. So you really need, if you're going to go down the AI route, you need to find something polished such as this, and that's going to fit on whatever size your book is. Or if you're an illustrator yourself, you know how to draw, you know how to do animations, etc., then I'm not even talking to you, because you can draw your own stuff the way that you like. But if you are not a person like me who knows how to draw to a T, AI is your best friend in this particular case. Okay, number 5, find a publishing site or publisher. Now, in terms of finding a publishing site, again, so you can go down the route of DIY, doing it yourself, I personally went to this website called Lulu. That's the publishing site that I use. I use Lulu. That's also where you're going to get your ISBN. Now you might be asking, what the heck is an ISBN? Essentially, that's what's going to help the public identify your book. Okay, your book needs an ISBN, and you a lot of times can get one for free through these publishing sites. Okay, so you see that right there, ISBN. That's when somebody can scan your book and they can identify rather if it's a paper copy, hard copy, or ebook. Okay, so you need to go through a publishing website. I personally suggest Lulu. Very easy, very convenient, and it's free. You can also go through Barnes and Nobles, KDP, Amazon. There's a lot of different sites you can go to, but I personally chose Lulu. And you get an ISBN as long as you acknowledge that they're your publishing site, or excuse me, as long as you acknowledge that they're your publisher or whatever. You can, a lot of times, you can publish on other sites. So despite the fact that I got my ISBN and all that through Lulu, I was also able to still publish through KDP and even Barnes and Nobles. Again, you just have to acknowledge your publisher, and in this case, my publisher was Lulu, lulu.com. That Lululemon. I know y'all were all thinking that, but yeah, Lulu. Lastly, this is your most important thing, your copyright. Your work is dead. It means nothing if you don't have a copyright. Or have it copyrighted, excuse me. Now, I actually have a certificate, my own personal certificate, as you guys can see. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it has personal information, because this is also something from the government, okay? You need to get your stuff copyrighted, because if not, anybody can steal your work, anybody can claim your idea, and then you're going to be at home mad and salty if somebody takes your idea and they become the next Harry Potter or Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying? Where your book, what was supposed to be your book, now has become a movie and is making millions and billions possibly. You don't want that to be you. So copyright. I don't care how small you think your book is or how big you think your book is. Copyright your work. And that's the only thing that's going to maybe cost you a little chump change, okay? For me, it costed about $100 or so, 100 something dollars. But yeah, it cost me $100 or so, and I would have rather paid that than to look up 5, 10 years from now and see my book idea being stolen. Now I can't do anything about it because it's not legally mine. So if you want your stuff to be protected by the government, where you can file a lawsuit if anybody even attempts to steal your idea, you can be like, no, my stuff is copyrighted. So anybody who tries to take the idea makeup only looks ugly when you cry, written by Sarenay, you will be getting a lawsuit thrown at you. You will be getting sued. Okay, because again, copyrighted. So make sure you get your stuff copyrighted, trademarked, etc. Okay. Anytime you do any merch in regards to your book, anything that you do, copyright. Definitely do book signings, go out to book festivals, network, market, do all that, okay? Before my book officially had released June 1st, as of this year, 2025, I gave out my book. I gave out free copies of my book, and I had a lot of great people in my circle who were like, I'll pay you, you know, you deserve your commission, da 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 da, right? But again, sometimes you have to make that sacrifice. Well, if I don't get any money from it right away, is it going to be still worth it? And my answer to you is yes, because you want people to be able to look back and be like, oh, I have her book. She signed my book, or he signed my book, or I remember he gave this to me, or whatever, whatever. It's going to help you in the long run. You need to mark your territory now. Now. You might not get the money that you might want right away, but networking, getting your stuff and yourself out there as an author is very important, okay? Especially in this generation where we don't read physical books as much. So if you want to make some noise, you got to put in the footwork and the legwork to get your stuff out there. Even if it's not convenient, even if you spent more money than you're getting initially, people are going to be your best friend in terms of helping you when it comes to your journey as an author, because robots are not going to read your book, people are. So connect with people, real people, okay? And the last thing I want to mention is when it comes to editing your book, again, this is when AI can come in clutch. You can use ChatGPT, Grammarly. They will edit your book, copy and paste things. You know, just generate a prompt that says, hey, help me find any errors, da 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 da, based on what you need, and they will edit it for you. Always read over your book just to make sure that there's no errors, because computers do still mess up, robots do still mess up, AI does still mess up. So with your human eyes, still go over the book and make sure, okay, there's no big mistakes or mistakes at all. But that's just a way to reduce the need to having to go buy this, that, and the third, or hire somebody to do it for you, okay? So with that being said, that's the end of today's video. I'm really excited on your journey of becoming an author. If you are deciding to, especially after watching this video, I encourage you to go look up more videos and listen to other people, so that way you have an open mind and open knowledge about what you feel like is best for you. But with that being said, peace and love to you guys as always, and I hope to see you guys on my next video.